Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm at the RIU Palace Aquarelle in Falmouth, Jamaica. I've been here for the past 3 days. I'm spending a weekend staycation here. If you haven't seen it, I did vlog my time here, so go ahead and watch that video and then come back over. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my official hotel review, and we're going to be talking about my experience here at RIU Palace Aquarelle. If you're new here, my name is Maisha. You can call me Mimi. I love to travel and eat good food, so that's pretty much what we're all about on this channel. If you're looking to visit the RIU Palace Aquarelle, I hope this video is helpful, and if it is, give me a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave. Now before we start, I must apologize in advance for two things. One, you may be hearing a little bit of a sound in the background. I did turn off the air conditioning, but there still seems to be some fan in the background and I can't figure out how to get it off, so there's that. And two, you may hear water as well, as my partner is in the bathroom showering, so I apologize. I hope it's not too distracting. All right, so now that we have housekeeping out of the way, the RIU Palace Aquarelle was opened in 2024. I believe it was May of 2024, so a little bit over a year ago, and I've been wanting to visit for quite some time. The reviews that I have seen have been mixed. However, if you've watched any of my previous hotel reviews, you know that I'm always going to be the person to say, don't just look at my experience, even if my experience is negative. Go and visit for yourself and see what your experience is like. And that's exactly why I'm here, in spite of hearing a few negative reviews, mixed reviews. But let's talk about my experience. So we're gonna look at some specific categories: decor and ambiance, check-in, room, customer service, food, entertainment and activities, and then I'm gonna share some general information. So we're starting with decor and ambiance. And if you've been to the RIU Palace Aquarelle, play a little game with me. Think of one word that describes your experience when it comes to decor and ambiance after 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Another word I would use to describe it actually is, for the most part, neutral. There are lots of pastels like light blues and pinks and some earthy tones like browns, like you can see some neutral colors here. Creams and browns, as well as a touch of earthiness with darker browns and a little bit of green and things like that. So I really do like the color scheme of the hotel in general. I like the fact that the decor is, for the most part, not doing too much, but at the same time it's quite tastefully done. It does make for a relaxing feel, a comfortable feel, a calming feel. The lobby is nice. One unique thing I noticed about RIU Palace Aquarelle is that there are lots of lounge chairs in the lobby area, so people be hanging out in the lobby all day, every day. There's also a bar in the lobby as well as a cafe, so it's really quite comfortable. So it's literally a hangout spot for people all day. The restaurants as well, the decor is tasteful, the grounds are nice. Obviously it's a pretty new hotel, so a lot of the trees haven't quite grown to their full size as yet, so, which is understandable. So this still looks a little bit sparse in terms of the greenery and the trees and so on. Of course, after a few years, those trees will grow up nicely and it will be a lot more luscious. But they have planted quite a decent number of trees throughout the entire property, and I can imagine that will look lovely when those trees are fully grown. Notwithstanding, it's a really nice looking hotel. Obviously it looks new from the outside because it is new, and the decor is nice. So for decor and ambiance, I would give a 4 out of 5. All right, one word to describe the check-in. 1, 2, 3. Easy. Check-in for me was pretty easy. I utilized their app. There is a RIU app which you can use to do online check-in, and I checked in on the app actually, I think 2 days before I arrived here, 2 or 3 days before I arrived. It might have been 2 days. So you can check in on the app, which made the process, I think, a little bit quicker. When I arrived here, it was pretty late, like after 5, somewhere between 5 and 6. The lobby was looking a little bit crowded, a little bit loud, but the lines to the front desk weren't that long. I noticed that there were signs that indicated where to go to check in. I also noticed that there were signs that indicated where to pick up your key. And because I knew I had already checked in online, I just went to that area and the lady there assisted me. So if you want to reduce the check-in time, I think it would be good and useful to check in via the app, so that when you arrive at the hotel, you can just pick up the key and you're on your way. It's not that you just receive the key and you go there. There's still a process where you have to sign papers. If you haven't paid yet, up to that point you would have to make your payment, etc. So it does take a few minutes, the process, but it's still, I think, pretty easy. So I have no complaints when it comes to the check-in process. As a matter of fact, the young lady who checked me in, her name was Davisha, and I have to give Davisha a big ups, because Davisha gave me a room upgrade. Who doesn't like a good room upgrade? Hello. I don't think she intended to give it to me initially, because she advertised it and told me the price for the upgrade, and I was like, Davisha, look into my eyes good and tell me you don't feel like you want to give me a room upgrade. No, I didn't say that to her, but I did request it and she granted the upgrade, and I'm very grateful. So thank you, Davisha. She was a nice young lady. I appreciated the upgrade. So I actually booked a partial ocean view or partial pool view room, and the room she assigned me was a full ocean view room. The only thing is that she mentioned that I wouldn't have gotten a king size bed. It had 2 double beds. Completely fine with me, not an issue. If you've been around here for a while, you know that I love a good pool view and sea view and ocean view room. So I was more than happy to get the full ocean view in spite of not getting a king bed. So check-in was on point. I've got to say that's going to be a 4.5 out of 5 for me for the check-in process. Speaking of the room and room upgrade, that's our next category. So one word I would use to describe how I feel about the room is comfortable. Very comfortable. The beds are comfortable. I slept well. The room decor pretty much the same kind of vibe and theme when it comes to decor of the entire hotel is maintained in the rooms. Another thing I noticed and liked about the hotel design is that there aren't a lot of straight lines. So they have this theme of things being wavy. So you can see the curved line behind me, and a lot of different areas in the hotel and in the room, they have that theme of the curved, the little wavy line, and I like it. So the room is pretty nice. I did a full dedicated room tour. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go ahead and check it out, and then you can come back to this one. But I won't be going into a lot of details here, except to say that the room is comfortable. I enjoyed my time here, and I would give it another 4.5 out of 5. Okay guys, I decided to come outside and get a little bit of the vibe outside, the ambiance outside for the rest of this video. Maybe I'll find another spot, we'll see, because there is a bit of activity around me, so hopefully it's not too distracting, hopefully it's not too loud, hopefully you can hear me. And it's extremely hot, by the way, but I just thought I'd change the scenery up a little bit. Alright, so the next category we're looking at is customer service, and my one word to describe customer service based on my experience is inconsistent. Another word I would use is lacking. Sad to say. Like I said earlier, Davisha at the front desk was nice. She gave me a room upgrade. She was pleasant. That was a good experience. Unfortunately, there are several encounters that I've had with staff which had me feeling not so great. Sometimes there's a nonchalance, or there is a downright rudeness, or there's just a lack of care, a lack of warmth. And unfortunately for me, that plays a huge part in how I experience a hotel. Yeah, some people just come and they want the activities and they want the parties and they're good. For me, the customer service is very important, especially as someone who has worked in hospitality. And just generally speaking, I do enjoy receiving good customer service, especially after paying my hard-earned money. I feel the least you can do is provide the service that I'm paying for. I'll give you an example, and this may not be the best example, but I'll share this experience with you nonetheless. There was a point where we had breakfast and we were late at breakfast, so we got there maybe around 10ish. Breakfast ends at 10:30, so we were there for quite some time after breakfast ended, and in all honesty, I did not realize the time. I think we were just engrossed in the conversations that we're having. I lost track of time. I didn't notice that the time had passed. I think maybe it was close to 11:30 thereabouts, and we were just there eating and talking. I didn't even realize that everybody else in the restaurant had left. It was literally just us two in the empty restaurant, just there talking. So one of the staff came by and they were cleaning up and whatever. So this was breakfast. I imagine they're probably getting ready for lunch. And she literally placed, this is a huge restaurant. It's just two of us, one table. We're sitting at one table. We're not being loud or rowdy or anything. We're just there having conversation. And she literally placed 2 or 3 glasses right beside us. Bam! Like thud, thud, thud. And I said to my partner, she clearly is trying to tell us to leave. And the thing is, I understand that we were in the wrong, right? I take accountability for that. I'm not trying to make excuses for that. I know that we were in the wrong. I'm very clear on that, right? We shouldn't have been there that late, and we should have left the restaurant at 10:30. However, there is a right way and a wrong way to do any and everything in life. Like, there is a way to approach the situation that is less aggressive, less combative, that is respectful and not rude. Yes, I know we shouldn't have been there. It costs you nothing to be polite. There is nothing wrong with saying, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. However, the restaurant closed at 10:30. It's now 11:30 and we're actually preparing for the lunch buffet. So we're gonna ask you kindly to leave. Simple as that. And there's no way that I could have retaliated or been upset with her asking us to leave, because we were in the wrong and I'm very aware of it. I mean, I'm aware of it now, or I was aware of it at that point. Like I said before, I didn't realize that the time had passed. So I didn't even know that it was that late and that we were the only ones left in the restaurant, right? But if she had come to us and said that, we would have left and no arguments. We would have simply left. So for me, it's the approach, and there are several different ways to have any conversation. I mean, you may achieve the same output, which is the desired output was for us to leave the restaurant, sure, but we're talking about the impact that that interaction had on us as paying guests at the hotel, right? I really was surprised that she approached it that way. She didn't say anything to us at all. She just placed the 3 glasses, bam, 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 right beside us, and that was not nice. So there are several instances like those, guys. Literally, I could tell you several different instances where we thought, wow, that was weird. That was off. And then, you know, there were a few that were really nice. Our housekeepers were so nice. Other people that we encountered were really nice. But then you see the others really just left a bitter taste in my mouth. So customer service for me is a 3 out of 5. It could easily be a 2.5, to be honest. But I'm gonna leave it at a solid 3 out of 5. There is some work to be done there. I don't know if it's training. I know that they probably don't get paid a lot, but oh my gosh, it's not an excuse. I'm very sorry. I know they don't get paid a lot. I like to work in hospitality, so I know what that life is like, but never have I ever treated a guest the way that some of the staff treated us on this trip. It can't be an excuse, guys. We have to do better. My throat is dry. I just sipping a little pina colada. And now let's get into the food. By the way, I changed the angle because some people just decided to sit exactly behind me. And I'm not trying to have anybody in the video that does not need to be. Okay, so food. One word to describe food. 1, 2, 3. Underwhelming. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the one to be like, you know, this wasn't great, that wasn't great. It's not my style. However, what is my style is honesty. I'm gonna tell you the truth, right? The food was extremely underwhelming. You see, last night I went to my bed hungry. I went to bed hungry not because I didn't have anything to eat, not because I didn't go to the restaurant, not because I was fat. I went to bed hungry because the food did not taste good and I did not eat it as a result. So we have been restaurant hopping. By the way, a lot of people I've seen said that it's difficult to make reservations at the restaurants. I haven't had any issues. I don't know, maybe it's just the time of year or the time that they're trying to make the reservations, but I've been able to make reservations for every restaurant thus far. So the first night we went to the buffet. Last night we went to 2 restaurants. I had reservations at Crystal Gourmet Restaurant and Napoli, the Italian restaurant. I went to Crystal at 6 o'clock. I went to Napoli at 9. Crystal was okay. Nothing crazy to write home about. Nothing. It wasn't chef's kiss. It wasn't. It was just okay. We had a snapper. We had a smoked salmon for the appetizer. My partner had a lobster bisque. As far as I know, bisque is supposed to be thick and creamy, but at least thick. I don't know if it's supposed to be creamy, but at least thick. It was like a broth, a lobster broth. Not that great, so we didn't drink it up because it really wasn't. I, on the other hand, had the octopus, the grilled octopus, and it was good, you know. I did think it could have done with a little bit more flavor. Now, Napoli, the quote-unquote Italian restaurant, it needs to lock the shop. Italian where? The food was disgusting. Absolutely, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing that they served me at that restaurant last night that I even cared to eat. I disliked everything. So the appetizers are served buffet style. Not sure why, but for me, when it comes to specialty restaurants, just give me a menu and let me order what I want. Alright, the focaccia was cold. If I'm gonna eat focaccia, it needs to be warm and at least room temperature. Focaccia was cold. I did not like anything that was there. Nothing at the buffet tasted good to me. I left everything on my plate. The arancini didn't taste the way arancini is supposed to taste, in my opinion. The salmon was slightly overdone, and the presentation, the plate just didn't look good. You know, I eat with my eyes. The food didn't look appealing at all. My partner got the fettuccine alfredo, shrimp alfredo, but he said it wasn't good either. So I literally didn't eat anything besides the salmon. And just because, you know, salmon is salmon. I love salmon regardless, so I'm gonna eat it. It was also very oily. By the way, salmon is a fatty fish. The Lord made it with it came fatty. The Lord made it with oil. It came fatty. So I don't understand why my plate was swimming with oil, because you really don't have to cook salmon with a lot of oil because it's a fatty fish. That's why it's such a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. But anyway, I digress. Besides the salmon, everything else I did not eat, and so I went to bed hungry. I didn't want to get anything from the sports bar because, you know, sports bar food was really like junk food, hamburgers, fries, and that kind of thing. I didn't want anything of that nature so late. So I had some tea and I went to my bed hungry. I tried the passion fruit mousse at the cappuccino, and I didn't like it either. So I don't know if it was just a bad day for me when it comes to food. If you watch this channel often, you know I'm a foodie. I really love and appreciate food. I have a very healthy relationship with food, and it's a huge part of the experience for me. You know, I don't ask for much, but give me some good food and I'll be a happy camper. And unfortunately, last night just was not it. The best food we've had here so far is the buffet, and I want to tell you, it's not the best buffet I've ever experienced either. There were a few buffet items that we really, really enjoyed. Some items were a bit cold or too cold for my liking, just because I love to eat my food hot. But other than that, the buffet is okay. The buffet, you can find something that you like. There's a nice Jamaican selection. Oh, the first night they had cow foot. Woo! I haven't had cow foot in a long time. The only time I've had cow foot was when my grandmother cooked it. I grew up with my grandmother, and the cow foot was actually pretty good, pretty decent. Had a touch of sweetness to it, but it was pretty decent. I don't know if maybe it's because I haven't had it in such a long time. I was happy to try it. I just had the gravy with some rice and it was good. So the buffet is okay. It's just that Napoli, the Italian restaurant, it wasn't doing it for me at all. Up to this point, I haven't been to any of the other restaurants yet, neither Kyoto nor the steakhouse nor Pepe's, and I hear a lot of reviews that Pepe's is probably one of the best foods on the property. So I'm going to share with you my review of those restaurants right now. Yep, they did not lie. Pepe's took the cake. Hands down, the best food on the property. I had jerk chicken, rice and peas and potato wedges, and washed that down with another pina colada. I actually left the hotel regretting that I didn't eat at Pepe's every day that I was there. I could have had Pepe's for lunch and dinner every day and be satisfied. Of course, they're only open during the day, but man, that jerk chicken was so flavorful. I'm really proud of Pepe's for serving the tourists some of the best jerk chicken on the island. Albeit, Some of the chicken was overcooked and burnt. That's the only reason why so much was left in the plate, but the bit that wasn't overcooked, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Apart from jerk chicken, they also have hot dogs, burgers, and nachos. So definitely make Pepe's a priority and eat there while you're at the hotel. After lunch at Pepe's, we cancelled our reservation for the Asian restaurant Kyoto, but with the track record of the specialty restaurants up to this point, we probably didn't miss a thing by not going. We did, however, keep our reservations for the steakhouse, and unfortunately, we had a similar underwhelming experience. The steak was okay, but the fries were cold. The shrimp was good, and of all the surprises we had this weekend, the cheesecake was extremely stale. I want you to know that I'm not trying to sensationalize. Exactly how you see the cake on the plate is exactly how we left it. One small bite was enough for us to know it was hard and the kind of stale where you start tasting how the refrigerator smells. It was bad. But anyway, let's not talk about food anymore at this resort. I'm not even going to rate it. But if I were to rate it, it would be somewhere between a 2 and a 2.5. Alright guys, it's really hot out here. Like I said, I had to go get another drink. I don't know what it is. It's non-alcoholic. Kind of sour. Okay, so our next category is entertainment and activities. And the word that I would use to describe entertainment and activities, based on my experience, is lacking. Now hear me out. They do have a long list of activities that you can participate in, right? And I love that it's a family hotel, by the way, if I didn't mention that before. So I love that they have a RIU land, what's for the kids, right? There's a play area, water park area for the kids. There are water sports, you know, the typical hotel water sports that are available. They have what you call RIU Fit, which is exercise fitness classes that you can participate in. So they have a wide variety of things, right? However, those are not things that appeal to me, okay? And remember, this review is based on my experience and the things that I like, right? So those don't appeal to me. They also have, by the way, a water slide for adults, which is great. What I tend to enjoy when I come to these hotels is the entertainment at night. They do have a neon party, a RIU party at the RIU Ocho Rios, which, if you're interested, there's a shuttle that takes you from this property in Trelawny to Ochi to participate there. And I think it leaves at 7:30 and you come back around 10:40 or 11:30 because the party finishes at 11:30. For me, again, not appealing. I'm not a party person. I'm not trying to leave the property to go to Ocho Rios and spend the entire night there, right? I would rather stay here and party hop and restaurant hop and participate in whatever local entertainment is happening. As for the local entertainment, there was a Bob Marley documentary last night, as well as a kids show of some sorts. It was, when I say show, I mean, I'm using that word loosely. It wasn't quite a show, but it was a kids segment, which I think they could have had elsewhere, maybe not on the main stage, but it's neither here nor there. And then a reggae band. Honestly, it wasn't that exciting. The Bob Marley documentary was obviously interesting. We didn't watch all of it, but we were there for a while we waited for our second restaurant reservation. So it was okay. It's interesting. It's particularly good for foreigners, I would admit, and I agree that it's a good feature to have for people who are non-Jamaican. They would most likely appreciate it a lot more than we do because it's probably new to them. And we live here and, you know, we know a lot about Bob Marley. But outside of that, it was just the reggae band and it was all right. You know, that's the thing. It was just okay. That's why I say the entertainment is lacking, because it wasn't super exciting. You know, there wasn't anything for me to rave about, like, oh my God, it was so much fun. It wasn't that. This is the first time that I'm doing a hotel review where even the entertainment and so many other things for me were just lacking. And it's unfortunate, but you're not guaranteed to have an amazing time when you come to these resorts, which is why it's very important for you to come with the right people and come with the right vibes so that you can enjoy yourself regardless of what transpires. For me, I am just very disappointed when these things happen because, you know, what I look for is value for money. It's cost so much to stay at these all-inclusive hotels, especially for us as locals. You know, cost of living is very high, exchange rate is very high, and you know, you work hard for your money, you know, so you want to be able to come and enjoy yourself and see the value that you're getting for your money. Unfortunately, that was just not the case for me this time around. All right, so in terms of general information, I just wanted to share with you guys just a few things that is good to know. This armband here that you get at the front desk, if you lose this, you will have to pay a fine of $250 US. If you lose your towel cards, if you're going to use the pool, you get these towel cards, you have to return them. If you lose these, you have to pay $20 US. One amenity that I really appreciate always is a decent gym, and they do have a decent gym here. It's a small one, only 3 treadmills, but it's a decent enough size, and I was able to get a good workout in. It tends to be a little bit more quiet between 9 and 10 o'clock, so if you're one of those gym rats who don't really love the crowd most often comes out earlier, between 6 and 7 thereabout. Okay, I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the check-in, the online check-in. RIU has an app, which again, you can check in online, but not only that, you can view the restaurant times, opening times, menus, as well as you can make your reservations via the app. Actually, you should make your reservations via the app. I think that is the only means of making reservations. So you can't call the front desk or the operator to make a reservation for the restaurants. You have to do it via the app. I would suggest check in early. So check in either the day before or before you arrive. When you get to the hotel, the app has a feature where you can indicate I am at the hotel. As soon as you get your room number, start reserving your restaurants. I believe you can reserve restaurants for the day of arrival, for same day, as well as the day after. It is quite likely that the restaurants for the same day might be full, but reserve for the following day, and then tomorrow you reserve for the next day. So you always reserve for the day ahead, right? And try to do that as soon as you check in and as early as possible each day. Like I said, I didn't have any issues with making my reservations, maybe because I was hyper aware of the fact that it could have been an issue, and so I made sure to get on top of it right away as soon as I arrived. However, just to prevent any disappointments, be sure not to forget to make those reservations as early as you can, as soon as you arrive. The beach is pretty clean, I have to say. There's no sign of seaweed as far as my eyes could see, as well as it tends to be a little bit quiet by the beach. Most of the action tends to happen by the pool side. They have water sports at the pool, they have pool parties, they have vibes going on at the pool, but the beach tends to be on the quieter side. So if you're looking for a relaxing area to just chill, the beach is nice and pretty clean, so it should be good for swimming as well. There's also a spa here. The spa and the gym is in the same area, same building. Didn't go to the spa, but I did notice that there was an area for manicure, pedicure, and things like that. So that's also available. So the restaurant staff definitely goes all out when it comes to birthdays. They sing for you and make a whole celebration out of it. And it's lovely, it adds a personal touch. However, when you have several persons celebrating birthdays at the same time, then it becomes a little bit tricky. On the weekend that we were there, over 20 people were celebrating birthdays that weekend. We lost count. So at one point, you heard the birthday song 5 or 6 times within 5 minutes. They were going from table to table to table. So after a while, it starts to get a bit repetitive and disruptive for the other guests at the restaurant. I don't know, is there a way that we can make it a bit more balanced and less disruptive? Perhaps having a group celebration where you just sing the birthday song one time for everybody who is celebrating their birthday on that day, or find other ways to make people feel special, keeping the energy and fun, but making it a little bit more balanced and being mindful of the other people in the restaurant. Don't get me wrong, we love it for you and we want to celebrate with you, but after a while, especially with people who are looking to have a quiet, relaxing dinner, it can be a bit much. So these are the reviews that my partner and I left for the hotel. My partner is a full screen and mine is a smaller screen. Mind you, we didn't leave our reviews at the same time. He did his review maybe a week or so after I did mine, and we didn't consult. Do with that what you will. Okay guys, I think that sums up my review of the RIU Palace Aquarelle. I regret that it wasn't more glowing. However, of course, I'm always going to come on here and give you the information as it is, as I see it, as I have experienced it personally. I really do hope you have a better experience than I do. So I'm not going to tell you not to come. Of course, not all of us are going to have the same experience. I will say though, it would not be the first, second, or third recommendation coming from me when it comes to all-inclusive hotels in Jamaica. There are several other all-inclusive hotels in Jamaica that I would recommend before I recommend this one. Excellence Oyster Bay, easily as much as Excellence Oyster Bay is pretty expensive, you literally get what you pay for. Right? So you pay for luxury, you get luxury. You get the service, you get the food, the good food, you get the vibes. I will say that the hotel is clean, the hotel has a good vibe, you know, it definitely has great potential. It's just that when it comes to customer service, that's a key part of the experience for me. Food, that is the most important part of the experience for me, you know, and so unfortunately it's not a good review. I hope you can understand that this is not coming from a negative place. It's just me trying to share with you my experience, as I always do. As much as I will come on here and rave about, you know, the positive experiences, I'm also going to come and be very frank and honest when it comes to the bad ones. So I hope it was helpful. And if you have a reservation booked for RIU Palace Aquarelle, do not cancel it. You know, come and have your own experience and leave a comment and let us know what your experience was, so that other people can get more information as they're doing their research before they book. There are several other videos in this RIU Palace Aquarelle series. I did a vlog as well as a room tour. If you want to see what my room looked like, and a walking tour, so you can get an idea of what the property looks like in its entirety. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please subscribe before you leave. Before I go, I just want to take a moment to send love and strength to everyone across Jamaica who's recovering from Hurricane Melissa. If you'd like to support the relief efforts, the government's official website is supportjamaica.gov.jm. Do not be scammed. It must be supportjamaica.gov.jm. Thanks again for watching, and until the next one, take care.